So it's been quite the interesting day for stocks so far, Palantir stock included. We got Nvidia's earnings yesterday. The market exploded. Palantir was up after the bell. Obviously, Nvidia was up. All the indexes were up. And now a lot of those gains have been given back. I mean, Nvidia's still up 5%, but all the indexes now are hanging on by a thread, almost about to go into the red now. I mean, we're down like 2% from the pre-market high on QQQ and SPY right now, and Palantir in the pre-market, which we're going to break down Palantir in this video, guys, the charts, what I'm looking to do, the whole 9 yards. This morning in the pre-market, it was at $127, roughly 126 per share. It dumped down to about 121.50. Now we're up to about 123.50, down 0.25%. So Palantir has not really been doing much recently, which, I mean, can we blame it for that? No, I mean, we shouldn't really, get too mad about that considering how much it's up. It's the best performing stock in the S&P 500, or at least top 3 year to date. I know for sure in the NASDAQ 100, it's the best performing stock. So we can't get too down on Palantir or be too hard on it that it hasn't done anything in the last 2 weeks or so. But it's like, when's the move coming? I'm waiting for the move. It's like, oh, we want to get another big move. And that's kind of how we've been conditioned here as Palantir shareholders. It's like the stock goes up. It seems like it goes up so much all the time. And when it doesn't go up a lot all the time, it's like, what the heck's going on? But obviously, when in doubt, zoom out. I mean, I've been investing for 10 years now, guys. I know how this goes, right? I know, especially when stocks go up a lot, there's going to be periods of time when they're flat, and that's kind of what we're getting now. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You don't want to see stocks go up and to the right, to the moon, nonstop all the time. Maybe in a fantasy dream or, fantasy land, stocks go up all the time. But that's just not the reality. And Palantir hit an all-time high about 2 weeks ago. We hit 133.50, and it's just been coasting ever since, right? Kind of letting the moving averages catch up to it, right, on the 4-hour chart. That's kind of what we've been doing. And if we look at the 20-day chart, we're noticing, okay, again, we've slightly been flat, slightly downtrending, but in the grand scheme of things, the bulls are very much still in charge. You're noticing here we're making these lower lows, lower highs, you know what I mean? We've been doing this since the 13th, 14th of May, pretty much, and this is still where we're at. We're in this channel, and we actually, in fact, got rejected at the top of the channel. Looks like after the bell yesterday, early pre-market this morning. And again, like I said, we saw a big pop after hours for pretty much all tech stocks yesterday. The indexes, right? Palantir got up to about 127, 128. And that's where it put in that lower high. And now we're starting to dump back down. We're making these lower lows almost, it looks like. So, yeah, at this point, man, it's the calm before the storm, if you will. Palantir is getting ready for the next big move. Obviously, I don't think the stock's done yet. I don't think we're going to collapse much further than this. I just think we're, again, cooling off a bit. The stock went up so much. It's now the calm before the storm, right? We're letting these moving averages catch up because you guys got to realize, man, this stock was at $65 early April. It got all the way to 133 by the beginning middle of May. That's like 5 weeks right there. It went up a whopping 110%, 105%. It's going to need to cool off, and that's what we're seeing now. So my prediction is we're going to come down maybe a little bit more, maybe down to 115, maybe down to 120. We're at 122 right now, so not much down, or not much more downside in my opinion. But I think we'll come down a little bit more, maybe down to that 180 SMA on this 4-hour chart at about 116.17. Maybe we'll go down to the bottom of this channel. You're noticing it right here, which puts us at about 116, 17, 18. And that's where I think we're going to get a short-term rally. Whether that's tomorrow, probably not tomorrow, whether that's at some point next week, right? That is what I'm watching out for here on PLTR. And at that point, man, let's say we get down to 115.16, for example, buyers start coming in. At that point, maybe a move back to the mid 120s. Heck, maybe a breakout from there could be coming. And if we ultimately break this channel out, in my opinion, when we ultimately break this channel out or break out of this channel, there's going to be a lot more upside. And, maybe those price targets from Dan Ives, from the Bank of America analyst that we were talking about 2 weeks ago, maybe those price targets come to fruition. Maybe they actually, they hit. And I think they were saying, I think the Bank of America analyst had a $150 price target. And I think Ives has like a 140, 145, somewhere in that ballpark at Wedbush. But yeah, maybe that's where those price targets actually hit. And now we're right across the board. So stocks are slipping even further right now. So yeah, I don't think Palantir is setting up for maybe a breakout even today or tomorrow at this rate. But, stocks are now slipping red. Palantir is down over 1%. And let me show you these indexes quickly. The S&P is currently down 0.15%, which it was up just earlier today in the actual session, and in the pre-market it was up even more. Now I think we're down 2% from the pre-market high, something like that. Yeah, about 2%. And QQQ is now down about a 0.25%, so we're also slipping on QQQ, now down 2.5% from that pre-market high. Insane. Looks like the Dow's down over 0.5%. Dow's slipping hard. Looks like the S&P, or not the S&P, the Russell is down 0.3. So yeah, man, what once was green this morning has turned red rather quickly. And I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised. I thought the markets were gonna hold green today. I thought the markets were going to look really good today, quite frankly. But man, talk about a pump fake. NVIDIA is just not enough, I guess, to keep the market up. And by the way, NVIDIA is still green. NVIDIA is still nicely in the green, up over 4%, $140 a share right now. Pretty good for NVIDIA, not bad. But again, it's just not enough to hold up these markets. We're now down across the board. The VIX is up 3.5%. Gold, silver, each up around 0.75%. So the metals are moving. And let's see. So I guess some big tech names must be dragging down these indexes here. It looks like Google's down about 1%. Same with Apple. Looks like CRM. Oof, what happened to them? Let me see. Did they report earnings yesterday? I think they did. Yeah, so CRM's down over 6%. Oof. So let's wrap it off. Wrap it up here with CRM. So they reported earnings per share, let's see here, guys, adjusted, by the way, of $2.58 versus $2.55 expected on sales of $9.83 billion versus $9.75 billion expected. So double beat there for CRM, and they guided for Q2 earnings per share of $2.76 to $2.78 on revenue of $10.11 to $10.16 billion versus $2.74 expected on revenue of $10 billion. So their guidance is good. They double beat. I don't know why the stock's down. Maybe it's a margin issue. Operating margin 19.8%. Looks like, yeah, I'm not seeing anything else here. I don't know why. The revenue's rising. The full year guidance was boosted. I don't know why CRM's going down. Maybe analysts cut the price targets. I don't even think that's the case here. But yeah, CRM's down, guys. CRM's down. And at this point, if it gets to the low 200s, I might have to pick up a position. I think there could be some value here. I did mention this, I think, in my video last night. 5 stocks I'm watching now, 5 cheap stocks or something like that. I named that video. But yeah, go check that video out if you haven't done so already. And I guess with that being said, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Come on. Join the free email stock newsletter. Check out my Patreon for my portfolio updates every single week. I posted 2 this week so far. That is down below. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you in the next video.